Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for another true crime video. If you are new here, welcome and thank you so much for clicking on this video today. If you do enjoy this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you do not miss a video. So since my last video, Brian Higgins returned to the stand to complete his cross-examination. He admitted to destroying his SIM card and disposing of it as well as his cell phone on a military base. Higgins had received a court order not to get rid of his phone, and although that had been lifted, he admitted to not receiving anything in writing stating so. So as far as he was concerned, he was supposed to keep his cell phone and everything on it. Jackson pointed out that that was a felony, and not only did Higgins have a lawyer on spot, the judge allowed him to interfere with witness testimony. Doubt that would happen if it was you or I, just saying. The prosecution has called multiple medical professionals as well as crime scene investigators, but they have yet to call the medical examiner. Now, the two investigators who examined and processed the crime scene evidence also were called to the stand. This included the taillight pieces and multiple pieces of John's clothing, which contained pieces of glass. But the defense pointed out multiple inconsistencies in this evidence, which many people believe to have been planted by Proctor. They pointed out that not only did the taillight pieces not match each other, but the glass found on John's clothing was not an exact match to the glass that he had been holding in his hand on surveillance video. That's a problem for the prosecution, especially because they hammered home the fact that that glass had been an exact match to the type of glass that he had been holding. The evidence had also been submitted 6 days after being discovered by, you guessed it, Proctor. And John O'Keefe's missing shoe was discovered buried underneath a plowed snowbank. But many people were saying that the soles had been a different color than the ones that he had been wearing. Now remember that all of this evidence was missed during the initial search, and that the Canton PD was not supposed to be involved in this investigation due to a conflict of interest. That conflict would be the close relationship that the lead investigator, Michael Proctor, had with the Albert family that he initially denied. Carrie Roberts testified saying that Karen Reed called her shortly before 5 a.m. on January the 29th, saying, "John's dead, Carrie, and hanging up the phone. She also said that Karen had told her John had been hit by a plow and she was worried because he would never have left Kaylee alone. During cross-examination, the defense hammered Trooper Proctor's supervisor, Trooper Butnick, regarding the fact that he initially believed that John had been physically assaulted. He even stated that a physical attack may have caused his death. Butnick was also questioned about a phone call that he made to Good Samaritan Hospital at 10:41 a.m. on January the 29th of 2022 before any witnesses had been questioned. He reportedly told them that John O'Keefe had been struck in the face with a cocktail glass. Now, he denied this on the stand, but the defense pulled up reports to prove it. The defense has also pointed out multiple inconsistencies in testimony amongst multiple witnesses that Trooper Proctor was the first to arrive on the scene that day. That is because he is a close family friend of the Alberts, which he continues to deny. It is also because the prosecution is arguing that he would not have had a chance to plant evidence. It was also discovered that Proctor had requested video footage from John O'Keefe's home as well as the login information from the Ring Company. Proctor also requested all activity logs, which he received through a Dropbox, which would have allowed him to delete any evidence that he accessed the accounts. Trooper Butnick also testified that Karen Reed had been arrested solely on the fact that she allegedly told Jen McCabe that she had hit John O'Keefe. Now let's talk about the video footage from the Sallyport, because many people are not happy that the prosecution submitted that video into evidence mirrored. This is a huge deal considering that the jury thought that they were looking at the right rear taillight when they were actually looking at the left. This would also mean that Trooper Proctor would have been at that side and that tail light in this video footage. The same footage that appears to be missing some pieces right around this time. And not to mention the fact that someone just appeared out of nowhere like Houdini up in this bitch. During cross-examination, Jackson pointed out that the jury would have had no idea what they had actually been looking at in that video had he not told them. That's weird to me. And again, I'm willing to point out the evidence against Karen Reed beyond a reasonable doubt, and I am willing to want her convicted if she truly did do it, but I'm just not seeing it, guys. And again, I went into this extremely skeptical of the internet rumors and the Jen McCabe searches, but I do believe that the defense proved those. Interrogation audio was played where you can hear Karen Read telling the police, so we are all in on the same joke, right? My taillight is cracked and John was pulverized, and telling the police that Colin and Brian Albert had beat up John O'Keefe. That is a huge deal considering that is before David Yannetti or Alan Jackson got involved, so that completely destroys the theory that they put this into Karen's head and decided that they were going to make up this whole story. Regarding Karen Read telling her father that she believed she had hit something, there's video footage proving that this occurred after she noticed her taillight was cracked. But you know what there is no video surveillance of? Karen Read going, look, my taillight's cracked, I hit him, to Jen McCabe just like she claimed. And there is video footage of that moment, and they were just walking right on by, so that didn't happen. One of the investigators that processed Karen Read's car stated that there was none of John O'Keefe's blood found on there. The only DNA of John O'Keefe's that appears to be found on the car suggesting that Karen Read hit him was on the taillight. There was also DNA of 2 unidentified males on that same taillight. Could that be Proctor and Butnick, the 2 men seen on the surveillance video by the taillight? You're telling me that she ran him over or hit him, or however the prosecution is saying that it happened, and there's no blood on his car? I mean, look at that man. Now, Lally is trying to block professional witnesses from testifying for the defense, including a doctor that said that John O'Keefe's injuries do not match him being hit by a car at the speed they are claiming. The witness also is going to testify that the injuries on his arm are consistent with a dog. But the judge agreed during a heated exchange with David Yannetti that she was going to allow this witness possibly to testify. I think it's absolute bullshit if they don't. And I do have to say that all of the sighing going on in this trial is extremely unprofessional. A huge moment in this trial, the testimony of the lead investigator, Trooper Proctor, which we were not sure if we were going to get, who allegedly planted evidence. It didn't appear that the prosecution was going to call Proctor, but they ended up doing it, and I believe it's because they knew that they had no choice. He got absolutely cooked on the stand, but interestingly enough, Lally was the one who introduced the infamous text messages into evidence. Probably because he knew he was going to be destroyed on those by the defense team. These messages included Proctor calling Karen Read foul names that I'm probably not even sure if I can say in this video, so I'm not going to, and saying that he wished she would herself. He also said that he absolutely hated her and he hated David Yannetti. Proctor was also grilled on the text messages to his friends, making fun of Karen Read and saying that the homeowner would not catch any shit because he was a Boston police officer too. One of his friends was making comments suggesting that Brian Albert, the homeowner, probably had been very drunk to do that kind of damage. He also texted that something stinks. Finally, a forensic data analysis expert testified for the prosecution, but I don't believe she cleared anything up about the time of search. She was talking all sorts of crap about how the first tab had been open at 2:27 a.m. and was never closed, and that's why it had that first search, house long to die in the cold. So you're telling me Jen McCabe opened multiple different tabs to make that search spelt different ways? That makes no sense to me, especially if it happened during the time she claimed when she would have been hysterical. The witness was also not able to rule out the fact that that search happened, although she chose her words carefully because, again, she was a witness for the prosecution, but she answered no questions, and I really hope a defense is going to call an expert of their own to talk more about this. If nobody can tell me that that can't be ruled out, then I believe that that search happened, and that just destroys this whole case for me. She was also kept from examining any other information on this phone, including these deleted phone calls and the deleted search. And what's with all the butt dials? Prosecution also called in a trooper to do the accident reenactment, and I'm sorry, but if she truly drove at that speed that he did right there, there's no way that that would have caused that much injuries. That would not have killed that man, that's for sure. None of this is adding up, guys. And you know what? I know I'm going to be one day behind on the testimony. I apologize. I've been super busy and there has been a lot of delays in this case. So I do plan on giving you guys a lot more consistent updates now that the trial is going pretty much full throttle. And I think that the prosecution is going to be wrapping up soon. So I'm really looking forward to see what the defense has, guys. I think that the prosecution could have wrapped this case up a lot quicker. I mean, I think that they complicated the testimony and that is not good for the jury. But as always, I want to hear all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you guys think of this case? Do you think that Karen Read did this, or do you think that there's something fishy going on here? You know, I always love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below, and thank you guys so much for clicking on this video today. Again, if you are new here and you do enjoy this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss videos just like this one. Also, stay tuned for more updates on this case. I hope you guys take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys in my next video.